Hey everybody, it's me, Kai, man. I'm about to get this gym in, but I wanted to have a quick conversation with you. I think a lot, and in the process of my thinking, I normally think a lot when I'm in the shower. And so a lot of my profound thoughts, a lot of my silly thoughts, they come when I'm in the shower. And my process is whenever it is that I'm thinking, I ask myself a series of questions to make sure that whatever it is that I'm thinking, that it is true, and that it sounds right. So needless to say, what I'm trying to say is I thought about this before I'm getting ready to say this to you. But I am going to kind of expound upon thinking and thoughts and levels of consciousness. So anyway, I'm in the shower and I am thinking about consciousness. And I've been really thinking about the level of consciousness as a whole as we move into the fifth, or as, we go into that, what we say is that fifth dimension. And so our thinking for the fifth dimension, or as we're already here in the fifth dimension, how our thinking has to evolve as an individual first, then as groups of people, then as communities, societies, the universe itself. So in this, you kind of looking around sometimes and you're seeing the level of consciousness of sometimes the people that are around you, and you're wondering, why isn't the state of the level of consciousness moving, I don't know, I guess more rapidly. And so, and why are some certain people are still, their thinking is still at that base level of thinking. And so I'm thinking about those things, and I'm thinking about, as I'm, kind of looking around Facebook, social media in itself, Instagram, conversations that you hear when you walking in a room or whatever the case may be. I'm thinking about all these different things. And sometimes I wonder, why are certain people still, having conversations where they're talking about my baby daddy, or they're talking about people lying on them, or they're talking about, I'm gonna match your energy. And I'm thinking, how is it that some people are still in that frame of mind, especially when they're responsible for like generations of people? If you're a woman and you've got children, you've got grandchildren, you're responsible for a generation of people. So all those people that will come behind you, you're responsible for the knowledge that they have. And so I kind of wonder about that. Why isn't that, certain, some people are not evolving their thinking? Because when you look at people that are in the conscious community, they have a different way of thinking. So their level of thinking is not about those particular things. They're thinking about things on a global level, how to raise the level of consciousness. They're thinking about, the water, that we drink. They're thinking about, eating more healthy, not just from a standpoint of I want to lose weight, but to change the composition of my body, to change the DNA so that there's no more cancer, that there's no more illness, within my body. And if I can teach myself to do that, I can teach those people that come underneath me, which are my children, my grandchildren, my great grands, my great great grands, and all those, so I could change the whole generations underneath me. And so as I'm thinking about that, and I'm wondering, why is it that some people, are not on that, level of thinking? And don't get me wrong, I know that we all are on different levels. But as we move into a more conscious, society, and people are seeing certain things and wondering what it is that they are not grasping onto. So at that particular turn, I'm going to go another place. Okay. So when I tell you that when I think about things, I try to make them make sense. And so anyway, I started thinking about what came to me is, well, they say that we came from apes. And I say, well, if we came from apes, why are there still apes? Like, why wasn't everybody, a human at that particular point? So when I think about that, you think about, the evolution. If they're saying that, we evolved from apes, right? Okay. So the evolution of humans walking upright, losing their hair, because they begin to evolve with not only their level of consciousness, but what was going on around them. So in the same aspect, I think, okay, so it's 2019. why are there still people with certain levels of consciousness? Because you will always, as the Bible says, you will always have the poor among you. And poor doesn't mean just in money. It means in thinking, your level of consciousness, your intellect, your wisdom, your integrity, all those things that we can, use as adjectives or something to describe, people. You're always gonna have those particular types of people. So, and then too, I begin to think about how we talk about how the survival of the people with the most intellect or the higher level of consciousness, and those people with the lower level of thinking will eventually die off. And which sounds true. But at the same time, okay, so I'm just having these thoughts and I'm thinking about these things. My whole thing is, how do we begin to move our universe, move our communities, move our societies into a higher level of thinking? How do we begin to help them no longer think about, baby daddy, baby mama issues, because now we're choosing the best person for us to actually procreate with, because now we're not thinking about people lying on us, or now we're not, thinking about I'm gonna match somebody's energy, because you always want to stay on a particular level of energy, and you know that those people with the base energy, you just want to be as far away from them as possible. You don't want to match their energy, because that means that you got to get in the ring with them. And who wants to get in the ring with them? You want to go in a whole different ring where everybody else is trying to lift each other up. Everybody's trying to move into a higher state of consciousness. So anyway, tell me what you think about what I've been thinking about, and if you've been thinking about the same thing, or if it just made you start thinking about that and you have a comment about it. Place your comments below.